I am pretty sure a lot of you already know how this format works, and we're gonna jump right into it with the top level, the casual level. So the fighter we are gonna discuss today is Ian Machado Garry. He is from Ireland, he's 26 years old, and his nickname in the octagon is The Future. He holds an undefeated MMA record of 14-0, with 7 of those being in the UFC, and due to his appearance and nationality, he is often compared to Conor McGregor. Now we are gonna go one layer deeper, which is the Neil Magny controversy. So, at a press conference leading up to their fight, Neil Magny made a joke saying he will beat Garry like he beats his own kid, and Garry got extremely mad and offended over that, and he didn't let any reporters ask Neil any questions and spawned the legendary line of "sit down, shut up." So Neil Magny just sits there and contemplates what he said like he's a fucking kid in school. Yeah, Ian Garry unfortunately went on to dominate that fight. He won like 30-26 or 30-25, I don't remember exactly, but he looked extremely angry while he was in the octagon. He was kicking Neil's legs like crazy. Even during the fight, he was still like flipping him off and everything. Just like extremely petty, just took this joke way too much too hard. And he took Neil Magny saying he would beat his own kid too hard. Like let's just jump to the next thing, okay? And that is the age gap between him and his wife. Ian Garry is 26 and his wife is 40. His wife is named Lena Machado, and she has a kid with her ex-husband, and that kid of course also has Machado as its last name. And Ian Garry then married the Brazilian model and also got her pregnant. And he took his wife's name because he doesn't want his kids to have two different last names, because one kid would be named Machado, the other kid would be named Garry. And now we are gonna go into the deep depths of despair. The cuck allegations. Him and his wife, they live together like any family. However, her ex-husband also lives with them together. But Ian Garry has gone on to deny this. This was common knowledge for MMA fans for a while. But what he is not denying is that her ex-husband is actually his nutritionist and feeds him a vegan diet. And vegan diets, man, listen, they're not the best way to become big and strong. And it seems like Garry is therefore not that masculine. He seems like a bit of a soy boy, even if you look at his physique and his behavior and all that. Just so you know, transitioning males usually start eating vegan to appear and become softer, so it's very weird if a fighter does that. And it just looks weird and manipulative that the dude who used to be with his wife feeds him that. And that type of stuff, I think, really will ruin your health and testosterone, especially as a fighter. And now one deeper even is the succubus wife. So his wife actually wrote a book back in the day titled How to Be a Wag. And for anyone who doesn't know, a wag is someone who gets to marry a very rich and famous athlete to get parts of their fame. And then they usually end up divorcing them and taking half their assets. And due to the fact that he is still only 25, and she got to know Ian Garry when he was younger, because of course you don't marry right off the bat after getting to know each other, basically means she kind of seduced a very young Ian Garry, I think 23 probably, but this is not facts right now, but she must have met him like the latest 23 was the latest time she must have met him. And it kind of seems like she is setting him up for wealth just to divorce him. And now the last point of this layer is the Sean Strickland beef. Sean Strickland also noticed this weird dynamic. And he told Garry per social media, I'm gonna proceed to read out what Sean said, and I quote, "Ian Garry's wife is a sexual predator. She sought out a young athlete to seduce because she's getting old and still wanted to be famous. Nobody of fame wanted you, so you preyed on a kid. You are and will forever be known as a succubus." Sean Strickland also actually took a lighter approach and really tried to help Ian Garry.
Guys, I never talk about anybody's spouses, but this shit ain't right. It ain't fucking right. I gotta talk about it. Ian Garry, I remember when I met you, dude. It was in New York. You were this fine-ass girl. She had the little nipple coverings. We all fucking seen it, right? Everybody fucking seen it. But I remember thinking to myself, there ain't something right about that girl. There's something about that woman that ain't fucking right. The way she walked, the way she looked, the way she talked, I knew it. Now I'm finding out You're 26, she's fucking 40, the ex-fucking husband lives with you, you took the last name, motherfucker, she wrote a book on how to be a wag. I didn't even know the wag was until now, dude. This shit ain't right, dude. She's a succubus. You gotta run away, bro. Hot girls are a dime a dozen. We'll get you one, we'll get you ring girls, we'll get you two at the same time, bro. You gotta pull the ripcord, man. It ain't fucking right, my friend. You gotta pull that fucking ripcord. I'm here for you, the Making News here for you. Do the right things, Ian Garry. Fucking pull that fucking ripcord.
Ian Garry did not take kindly to this at all. He DM'd Sean on Insta and told him that he was gonna sue him, and Sean Strickland, the savage that he is, says he would have respected Ian more if he said he would beat his ass, but him threatening a lawsuit just completely made him lose all respect for Ian Garry. And that is basically the Strickland beef. And now we're gonna jump into the deepest layer, which next up is censorship. If you go to Ian Garry's Instagram, you will quickly realize he turned off the comments. Understandably so. I cannot imagine how people spam those comments. I mean, there's been a lot of memes that are also going a bit too far in my opinion. Problem with Ian Garry is he's publishing most of his weird stuff himself. He's the one that let the world know. Man, the comments would have been ruthless. I understand why he turned them off. And the last point on this list is something positive, because I'm sick of ranting about another man's private life. This is awkward as fuck, but I just want the views, to be honest, man. So the last point is gonna be him selling merch actually on his Instagram in his bio. You can go to a website that is called The Future Shop, and there you just see Ian Garry selling his own line of merch. He's usually modeling for the pieces of clothing himself. And that is the iceberg, everyone. Thank you for watching.